Hey everyone, Steven here, autistic YouTuber, and welcome to Toastamac. I love creativity. From childhood, even up to this day, I have a strong love for coming up with creative solutions to problems, taking photos, making videos, even building Lego sets. There is just something about creativity that gives me joy and satisfaction, especially when I get to the end of a project. Over time, though, I have seen time and time again that I am not the only autistic that has a strong connection to creativity. Why don't we look into that a little further today? I do need to mention a couple of things before diving too deep. Naturally, this does not apply to every single autistic person out there. While you can find a lot of autistic people with creative skills, this is not a universal trait that every single autistic is guaranteed to have, so it wouldn't be fair to set that expectation. The other thing, when I say creativity, you might be thinking about arts and crafts, music, dance, and other art forms. This is a common mix-up to be sure, but there is a clear difference between creativity and imagination.
And there is the obligatory SpongeBob reference. Ugh. I never thought we would stoop that low.
Anyway, imagination is the ability to think up ideas or mental images or concepts of things that are not yet present or something you haven't experienced yet. Whereas creativity is the ability to generate these ideas and put them into motion, turn nothing into something, make something happen. One conjures up ideas, the other one turns them into reality. And while these two can often go hand in hand like peanut butter and jelly, the two are not the exact same thing. You can have one without the other. Now that we got all of that cleared up, why is creativity so different for autistic people? After all, you don't have to be autistic in order to be creative. Neurotypicals can do that too. So why is it so different for us? Well, part of it has to do with how the brain tries to understand the environment around us through a process called sensory perception. With this term, you might be thinking that I'm just referring to the 5 senses our body has. And yes, these senses can help the brain gather information via signals, but this alone would be insufficient to explain this. The perception part is when the brain actually tries to make sense of the information that it's given. Combine that with how an autistic brain might see things differently, due to the fact that the brain is wired differently, and sensory perception can help us greatly with our strong attention to detail, as well as our intense focus that allow us to perceive certain elements that others might miss. To some, these may seem like small details, like if you look at a leaf, I see a ladybug, or if you look at a box of screws, I can tell which one's zinc, galvanized, or stainless steel, but depending on the situation, those small details can change everything. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves. This is only one part of the reasoning. The other part has to do with the problem-solving process. Believe it or not, there are actually 2 different methods of problem-solving. Convergent thinking, which involves narrowing it all down to one single solution, and divergent thinking, which is a more free-range way of thinking, in a sense that you come up with multiple solutions for the same problem. You may find that a lot of autistic people are more of a fan of the latter between the two, because it gives them more creative freedom, more leniency. And while you can make an argument that a neurotypical might come up with more solutions, you may also find that ideas coming from an autistic might be more unique, more original. Even though the uniqueness doesn't always guarantee that the plan will work, hard work Unique perspectives and originality are often the core foundations towards making something new, something the world hasn't seen before, and something that can make a positive difference in the world. Truth be told, we've actually seen examples in the past on how divergent thinking from an autistic has made something better. Would you like to know more?
Brace yourselves, it's story time! Temple Grandin is known for quite a few things, not only for being an influential figure in the autistic community, but for her expertise in animal science and behavior as well. One of her most well-known contributions was for the cow squeeze chutes around the 1970s. While cow chutes have been around for a very long time for the purpose of holding cattle in place for various procedures, Grandin's modern take on the device involved changes that made the overall process easier for the cows. These changes included designs of curved single-file chutes to keep the cattle calm while also reducing risk of injury, minimizing audio and visual elements that could startle the cow, and applying slow, even pressure all throughout the body to reduce anxiety. While her time and studies in Arizona State University certainly helped, Temple Grandin was also using her own experience with autism to relate to those of cows, especially when it came to stressful situations and sensory stimulations. Through this, she used her strong attention to detail to identify certain factors that could impact animal behavior and address them accordingly. As for the deep pressure stimulation, she already worked on something similar with her hug machine back in 1965, 5 years before she even got started working on the new cattle chute designs. Grandin took what she learned from her previous invention and experiences and applied it to make new, improved cow chutes, which are still used to this day all around the world. Not too shabby for creative thinking, huh?
As valuable as creativity can be for some autistic people, how can we go about to best utilize it? Creativity, much like any other skill, is only useful when it's actually used. Just carrying it around all the time won't do you any good. As my dad would say, early intervention is key, so parents out there, it's best to start when the children are young. Try to give them support and encouragement towards pursuing their creativity and unique skills to see how far they could take it. It could be as simple as role-playing, where you play out different scenarios. You could try activities to help them improve motor skills, go to events in their specialized interest, or even setting up a part of your house or environment to meet their sensory needs. Do keep this in mind with what you're planning. The activity should not just help with creativity by itself. It should also help them with building confidence and self-expression. You could have the best skills in the entire world that won't do much if you don't believe in yourself, and a little confidence here can make a big difference there.
Something else that can help autistic people of all ages take part in group activities that allow you to try different creative ideas towards reaching a desired goal. Group activities can greatly assist with interacting with others, sharing materials, and even communicating ideas to the rest of the group. Not to mention, they can create opportunities for inclusion. You know, the very thing that many in the autistic community are striving for. You could try an art project, building a Lego set together, or heck, it doesn't even have to be art. It can be engineering, robotics, software technology, science projects. As long as you can be creative, it doesn't really matter what route you take. Just take it.
There is one more thing I want to add before finishing this. A personal request, if you will. Try not to limit yourself to the narrow perspective of just one single answer. Think of it this way. In mathematics, you can use multiple equations to get to the same number as the solution. I can think of 5 different equations to get to 5, so why then can you not apply the same way of thinking to problem solving and creativity? It could be possible that you come up with a new idea that works, or maybe someone you know comes up with this brilliant concept that you never thought about before. That is part of the beauty of life. It's never stagnant. There is always room for new possibilities, new ideas, or improvements of old ideas. But you won't find them if you just focus on one answer alone. So please, don't be afraid to be creative. Take chances, make mistakes. If your idea works, then great. And if not, well, at least you can say you tried, which is a lot more than some people might be able to say. Who knows, maybe you could be the next one to come up with this brilliant idea through your creativity and make the world shine brighter for it. Temple Grandin and other autistic people have done it in the past, so why not you? And that's all I have to share on creativity for autistic people. I hope you enjoyed this video, but of course, if you have any more questions about this topic or want to share your experience with creativity, tell us about it in the comments section below. With that, we have arrived at the end. Thank you for watching, everybody. Like and subscribe if you want to see more, and a special shout out to Help Autism Center for becoming a member of the Toastamac Chow Club. You can get shoutouts like this too, as well as other amazing perks, so consider becoming a member today. Until the next video or live stream, see you later.